Hello everyone, this is Foxy Papa Smurf, or FPS Gamer for short, and I'm here bringing you yet another map showcase of a map that I created in the Halo 2 Anniversary Forged template. In some of the sandboxes, particularly Awash and Nebula, the lighting can be a little funky. As I zoom out, you'll see my character actually start to get darker. So, I mean, it doesn't affect the gameplay at all, it's just something to take note of. So my character will get lighter and darker depending on what kind of light he's in at the moment. So he may look a little bit dark, but it's okay. So in creating this map, I took a little bit of inspiration from a few classic Halo 2 maps, which I really like to do. I love those classic Halo 2 maps. They're just timeless. Specifically, these moving boxes were inspired by the moving boxes on the classic Halo 2 map Elongation. Those boxes were used to get from one level to the next and also to block sight lines. So I put them in here partially aesthetically and partially so you can use them to your advantage. We're starting on blue side, so I'll kind of give you a brief overview of what blue side looks like. Now this map is symmetrical, so everything you find here on blue side is going to be identical on red side. There's these large glass windows that look out into outer space that were also loosely inspired by the big glass windows that are found on Elongation, as well as a few other maps in classic Halo 2 multiplayer. So I really wanted to bring those in as a staple, just as a throwback to those classic Halo 2 maps. So this is the bottom level of blue base. Each side has basically 2 levels, and this is the lower level. Not much down here. You'll see a little power switch over there, but I'll get to that in a moment. This is one way up to the upper level. It's probably the most easily accessible way to get to the top level. You'll see there's a ramp on one side and then a ramp there on the other side as well, and it's identical on either side. But there's also a third way to get up to the top level, and that's to come behind the base. It takes a little more time, but if you can do it, you're a little more protected if you manage to get behind the base, and also your enemy team won't expect you coming. And this is actually a working elevator. It's activated by walking on top of it, and as soon as you leave the elevator, it descends back down. And up here, I provided the players with a shotgun and also 2 plasma grenades to defend themselves with in such a game like Capture the Flag or Assault, something like that. And you'll notice when you're up on this upper level, you can see directly across the way to the opposing team, and that was loosely inspired also from the Halo 2 map Midship, where you spawn and you can see across the map there's a lower basin area, and you can see directly across to the opposing team. I put up these explosives to kind of balance out the gameplay, because that upper level is a very good position to have. You can see a majority of the map from up there, so it's important that it's balanced. So descending now, I'm going to show you how to get to the opposing team from the sides. There is a middle lower level, but I'll get to that in a moment. These tunnels during playtesting were actually the places where we saw the most firefight happening. There was a lot of fighting going on in these tunnels. And this is a little ramp that goes down to the lower level, but we'll get to that later on. Like I said, this tunnel we're walking in right now is where you're going to see a majority of the fighting. You would think it'd be down by the rocket, people would be competing for that, but really these side tunnels are very attractive to players. I'm not sure why. Again, like I mentioned previously, this is an exact replica of what you'll find on blue side. Just everything has a slight red tint to it. And I made sure I left the walls partially down so you can easily drop down on enemies that may be trying to flank you. You don't have to worry about trying to climb over any barriers to get down to the lower level. Again, coming around back behind red side, this automated elevator will bring you up. And the scripting on that was pretty simple. If you have questions about that, leave it in the comments. It's a really simple build. And then, of course, when you leave the elevator, it descends back down for anyone else that wants to come up. And it may seem kind of slow, but then again, that's kind of the point. It's supposed to be a slower way to get up to the top of the base, because if you manage to do it, you'll have a really big advantage sneaking up on them. One thing I should mention as well is this map you can see clear from one end to the other, a very, very long sight line, and typically that's discouraged. You want to have something in there to kind of break up the sight lines so people aren't getting spawn killed over and over and somebody gets a long range weapon and just completely dominates. You may have noticed these little tracks. There's one on red side and one on blue side. You're probably wondering what those are for. But if you walk over to this console and you turn it on, it activates these boxes, which then start coming out continuously along these tracks. You'll notice they're a lot like the boxes you find on Elongation. Really good for blocking sight lines, also really good for using to mount onto upper levels. You'll see that periodically these boxes will come by and you can use them to kind of sneak away or to block yourself from enemy fire. And you can come down here, this is all playable space, so you can use that to your advantage. However, if you do try to go into the tunnels, you'll be met with a 10-second death timer, and if you go too far, it's just going to end up killing you. So you can go a little bit into the tunnel, but not too far. I wasn't very forgiving with that. And either side can drop straight down onto the power weapon on this map, which is a rocket launcher. And this rocket launcher has 1 spare clip, so that would make 4 shots total. So you'll see a lot of competition over this, this rocket launcher right here. Well, thank you guys so much for watching. This map is available in my file share. You can look in the description of this video for a few details on that. I had a lot of fun making this map, and if you don't mind, hit that like button on your way down there. Comment, subscribe, share this video. I really appreciate when you guys do that. It really helps me out a lot. Well, thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you next time.